Well, we have all experienced moments of fear or blame or selfishness and the like. But in terms of looking at these common sources of pain and violence in human existence, could there be more to it than what you knew to be true? Meaning, what's beyond the superficial surface? Pretty compelling stuff, right? Well, my next guest explores these issues in his book, Beyond Victim and Villan, 33 discussions about life to become reacquainted with our vulnerability and reveal our oneness. Noah James Hittner joins us this morning to talk about it. Good morning to you, Noah.
Good morning to you. Thanks for having me.
Why did you write the book?
Well, you know, my life brought me down a path, and I was having some experiences that at the end of the day began to empower me, began to make me feel more free in my life, more free to express myself, and I really felt like I had to share that. And so it started with some notes, you know, 3 bullet points, 4 bullet points. A year later I had a 12-page outline, and I just filled in the lines after that, and the book was born from there. So I really just wanted to share the empowering experiences that I was having.
Well, it has all evolved into 33 discussions about life, each beginning with a story, and many of these stories are true. What are some of the discussions, and why were they important to put in the book?
Well, the discussions themselves really talk about the situations that we all find ourselves in that create pain, anxiety, fear. It sounds fairly unoriginal, but the point is that I was starting to see these situations from a different perspective, and I wanted to put a tweak on how you can look at that so that something that was disempowering you, making you feel victimized, suddenly was empowering you, increasing your sense of freedom, increasing your sense of sovereignty. And that's really the point of the book, is that those feelings are really just a perception away. There isn't much that you have to do. There isn't really anything you have to buy. You can really just change your perspective, change the way you think about something, change the way you're looking at something, and the dominoes will fall and a lot will change after that.
Well, in the book, you know, you write that we are all connected to one source. In essence, we are all one. But you also say our comprehension and understanding of this is irrelevant.
Right.
Why?
Right. Well, it's sort of like electricity, you know. I don't know about you, but I don't get how electricity works. I don't comprehend the science behind it. But it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I don't get how electricity works. It doesn't matter if I don't believe in electricity. It's still going to be there. It's still going to do what it does. It's still going to have its effect. And really the same could be said about the connectedness that we share with each other, the connectedness that you and I have with all of life and the rest of the world. And it doesn't matter if we don't understand it. It doesn't matter if we don't believe it. That connectedness is there. You can see it out in your life everywhere you go. Just look at the interactions you have with people out on the street, at the workplace, with your family. Everything you do and say has a consequence. It creates a change, and that change in turn creates a change, and those changes in turn create changes. And what you're watching through all of that is the connectedness that we share somewhere way back in our source, somewhere way back where we come from.
Well, you also say because of this kind of oneness that life is inherently harmonious. But when I look at the news and I look at how we treat each other on a daily basis, there seems to be little harmony in the world right now.
Yeah, well, that's a really good point. And it sort of brings you to a place where you have to redefine the word harmony.
Okay.
Where it comes from is everything that's happening to you and everything that's happening to me, whether it's positive or negative or good or bad, and good or bad is just a subjective judgment that we're casting onto positive and negative experiences. But everything that we go through serves our own individual process. We're all going through our own microcosmic evolution, individually and globally. And everything that's happening to us is serving that process, the good and the bad, and they're both of equal value. And when that reality starts to sink into your heart, you start to understand that, wow, this all really is harmonious. There is a harmony going here, and the harmony involves the good and the bad. It's not a single polarity of just goodness. We have to have both in order to create the contrast to create our lives with.
I think that's an important point because, you know, even in those bad moments, there's always something to be learned, right?
Right.
Whether it is good or bad. Why are these moments so essential? And I also want to touch on this. When you have a bad moment with somebody and there's somebody in your life that you chastise or there's a negative experience with, that moment can also teach us something, not necessarily just about the other person, but about ourselves.
Yeah, and in my opinion, it's more important what you're learning about yourself.
Okay.
Because everything you're going through, as selfish as this may sound, is about you. Your entire life is about you. And when we find ourselves chastising or judging or criticizing, it's not a bad thing. It's not that we shouldn't do that. But the point is, when you find yourself doing that, if you look deeply and honestly at the moment, what you're going to find is you're seeing elements of yourself in that person or that situation that you're not willing to accept yet. You know, that you're seeing elements of yourself that you are still judging, that you're not comfortable with yet in your own life. And so there's a lot of value there. You know, the people that you push away, the people that we resist, the situations that we hate, there's an incredible amount to learn from those situations.
And so what is the takeaway? What would you like to leave our viewers with this morning?
Okay, well, it's kind of ironic. There's nothing you can do to screw any of this up. There's really nothing you can do to make any of this go wrong. Going back to what we talked about a minute ago, because every experience has value, the positive and the negative, and because the negative is just as valuable as the positive, there's nothing you can do wrong here, because you're going to continue to move, you're going to continue to have experiences, and that's really all life wants of you. And so the funny thing is when I've talked about this book, you know, by the end of the book, you may find yourself going, wow, I read this whole book to discover why I didn't need to read the book. But hopefully there's something valuable there.
And I think that is a great takeaway, because there always is something valuable to be learned and something valuable to be, because we're all evolving. It's an evolutionary process.
Right.
So terrific information, and it was great to meet you. Thank you so much for coming by and sharing it with us.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Good to
Appreciate
see
it.
you. And again, the book is called Beyond Victim and Villan, 33 discussions about life to become reacquainted with our vulnerability and reveal our oneness. For more information on Noah or the book, please visit the website noahjameshittner.com.